Happy Tuesday and welcome to today's episode of More Than Just Task Management, your favorite daily podcast where we help you build a thriving business with me, Anna Angelova, business coach and consultant, and my co-host, Jores Minasvan, the business consultant. Morning, Jores.
Good morning, Anna. Happy Tuesday. It's Tuesday, right?
It is
I am
Tuesday.
sometimes every day is a Friday for me, but let's call this a Tuesday. I usually have six Fridays a week, except for Saturday. But yeah, it's Happy Tuesday. The topic of our day today is to how to protect your customer data and data in general. I mean, there's you also have to protect your employee data when you grow. Pipita, blah blah. A lot of stuff comes in, privacy. So, data, passwords. How do we protect those? So, you want to jump in, Anna?
Yes, let me start. Thinking about day one. So day one, you might not have your systems ready, right? Like you might still do things a little bit manually, right? You might not have a CRM. You might just use an Excel spreadsheet where you put people's names and some contact information. So ultimately, it all starts with the processes, and it all starts with you. It all starts with you having good habits of like you just mentioned before we started the recording, you just mentioned locking your computer, right? Locking your own laptop where when you get up and go, like, people don't see what's in there. So a lot of things start with you and your own habits initially, and from day one, how you protect is, of course, uh, these are some of these things should be a no-brainer and we shouldn't even be talking about, but don't post this into even through Gmail and things like this, sending the customer data or something like this. Don't post this online anywhere. And again, like even from your own habits, like having different passwords for different things. And I know we're all guilty of using the same password in multiple places. It's human nature. But as you are starting to build a business, and especially when it comes to your customer data, even in the beginning stages, when some of these things might be a little bit more manual, like as I said, you wouldn't have a CRM in place, for example, you do want to have like password protect the file, for example. Yes, there's no foolproof method, and like as we are recording this, and like we are publishing this on August 5th, I think. Fifth, I think, yeah. So, like, we're publishing this, it's on August 5th. Like, just what, 2, 3 weeks ago, there was news about a breach, like, for Microsoft SharePoint. I think so. So yeah, these things happen, and no matter how much we try to protect, there's always something happening, and there are some things that are out of our control, but there are also at the same time things that are in our control when it comes to protecting client data from the day you start your business. And again, there are even just simple things like password protecting a file where you might keep information, and making sure that your own laptop, like your own systems, like having a scanner like for viruses and things like this, not clicking on suspicious emails and opening suspicious uh, links and things like this. These are simple things that start with you as you're starting your business. And then as you build people, as you build the team, as you build the business, as you start implementing, of course, as you start getting the different systems, then it comes to also proper installment, like how you properly set up these systems to protect and to make sure that passwords are updated regularly. that only the people who need to have access to the data have access to the data, and only for the purposes they need the access for. So this is where I would start, and I would like to hear your thoughts as well, Jores. You're way more into this world even now than me, so I would really like to hear your perspective as well.
No, it was a good start. You mentioned about SharePoint being hacked 2 weeks ago, and this is Microsoft. If you go online and you check Microsoft's certification for cloud on their tool on their services, I think it's 600 pages long. All of uh, their certifications and protection when they are telling corporations, yeah, come put your data on our systems. However, as technologies evolve, so do hackers. So how do we, because they also use technology faster, even AI, they're going to use more processing power to guess more passwords faster, whatever the way, or backdoors or whatever. But so how do you protect yourself? I think it's a combination of what you mentioned, Anna. Um, People, process, and technology. So today's technology is like you probably know this. I was so irate a few weeks ago. I got a new laptop, and it was as soon as I walked away, within 5 seconds, it locked itself. I was getting actually upset. I had to go get our administrators to turn that off. So there is technology that you can do that, but then that could be to the detriment of productivity and knowing your people. So I think it's a combination. Teach your people awareness, like you said. Don't leave your desktop, and this needs to become second nature, right? So when you say don't leave your desktop open so other people look at, that person needs to be aware enough and smart enough to apply the same thing to their phone, because maybe later they're on the road, they're going to see a customer, they stop for lunch, they have something on their phone, they're leaving on the table as they're having a sandwich or whatever. So uh, you need to, like, it's end to end. Apply the smarts. Don't click, like you said, don't click on suspicious emails. If you have any doubt, ask somebody, or think and read more before you click. Uh, Protect your passwords, protect your desktop, protect your phone physically, and I think if you have a combination of all of this, um, I don't want to say being hacked is inevitable, but it's it's you can reduce the chance. It will come. I mean, if you have big enough information, if you have expensive enough information, they'll come for it.
And it's not, this is the other thing, that it's not just only, it doesn't happen only for corporations, right? Like we don't want you to be paranoid and be like, oh wow, I need to, like, no, like take necessary steps, like educate yourself. I mean, I was seeing articles recently on like, not just hack, it's like some UK companies, and not big companies, right? Like not big companies, like yeah, medium-sized kind of businesses where they actually took over their systems and wanted a ransom. There was a ransom demand of I don't know how many millions. So again, we're not saying this to scare you. We're not having this conversation to make you paranoid. It's the awareness that you need, and to put the necessary uh, people, process, technology. Absolutely. And technologically, yes, you can have a lot of things. Like you can have the multi-step verifications and things like these that people are doing, like the companies offer. You can have all these things in place, yet like it also goes back to processes. Like do you have the right processes? Like are people following and then it goes to people, like are they following this? And one of the things is that even to this day, it's not that hackers have technology that's like people are the weakest link even to this day. What I'm trying to say, as harsh as it might sound, we people are the weakest link, because we overshare on socials. We overshare, or oh, I'm going on vacation right now, and it's like, oh, Perfect. And you live over here? Amazing. Let me go and check your house or whatever it is and see what valuables you have. Like we overshare. This applies to uh, things about our businesses, not just about our personal life. And you've especially if you have worked in the corporate world, like you've worked for someone, you've probably gone through those trainings about phishing, about social engineering. When someone calls and says, "Oh, this is this person from somewhere," so there is so much information right now online, and for people, for hackers and people with bad intentions to try and play their way into your corporation and your company. So again, starting with the awareness and taking the necessary steps to protect it's and Jores, you mentioned this, it's not just the client data. At some point it's your employee data, your IP as well, like intellectual
Your formulas.
property. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Your recipes, your formulas, you want to keep those. Your pricing, how you price. These are things yeah, I mean, if it has any value, and the more valuable your data becomes or your IP or service becomes, the more prone to hackers hacking it will become, and you need to be vigilant in protecting it. Combination of technology, people, and process. And I remember, and this was getting very, very bad in the late around between 2008 and 2010. Hacking and social, especially what do they call it? Uh,
Engineering.
social engineering. Yeah, they were walking into a reception. They were saying, "Oh, I want to go to the washroom." It was a very well dressed woman. The washroom had actually had two doors, so she went out to the other door through the other door. This was a company that did an audit on this other company's hackability, and she went straight through the other door, out the other door, because the way the office was set up, and across from the washroom door, women's washroom door. It was the VP of HR's office. She walked in. The laptop was unlocked. The VP had walked away. She copy and pasted and took pictures of a whole bunch of employees' salaries, including the CEO, everybody. And then she walked out, and then the next day they came back to the company and they showed them in the audit that we were able to actually, we know how much your CEO makes. And they were like, how? And she said, very simply, I used the politeness from your reception and said, I need to use the washroom. A woman walks in distraught. Hi, honey. It's whatever. I need to use. We are non-confrontational. We want to be polite. We want to be accommodating. But again, you need to teach your people. So many places this company failed. The reception wasn't trained. The HR VP wasn't trained. There should never be an HR VP of HR's office located outside of the washroom. There's so many things that we need to think about, like
Especially
logistics.
public washroom, right? A washroom that can be used with yeah, yeah.
No access. Yeah. So now actually there are companies, they reacted to these stories, and there are companies that you actually have to go outside for washroom. There is no washroom inside your office. Almost 90% of companies right now, in outside office, our washroom is outside of the building. So there are so many examples of this that it's like countless. And yeah, people fall for this. So protect yourself. Don't take this lightly, and pick the don't when it. This is something that I would say when it comes to this protection. Don't save money. Don't go for money saving. Don't pick a software that is $50 a month less than the other one. Go for the expensive one. In the long run, think about it. You have insurance of $2 to $3 million liability as a small to medium sized business, maybe more, $10 million. Why? Because things happen. You cannot control variables. So protect yourself. get the right technology, teach your people, and a few months after that, what that happened was Dell. More, I think this was 2010, and Dell had a very big meeting in a boardroom, in a glass boardroom, with a vendor. There were, I think, 25 people in that classroom. They all got up to go take a break or lunch. The head of security of Dell walked in, and I think 80% of the laptops were not locked. So everybody in that boardroom got fired. The vendor got fired, and they made an example. So put that in your employment. Breach of data, intentional or not following the rules and company policies that will make that may end up with a breach of data is grounds for being fired. So you have, teach your people, protect yourself, protect themselves as well from themselves, and build these systems that will protect everything. I think your IP is more important than customer data.
And again, we're not saying this to scare you. We're not saying this to make you paranoid. These things are really important. And one thing is that corporations, they tend to pay really like a lot of attention to this. Nowadays, the way things are working, even as small, mid-sized businesses, this is something that we can't ignore. And if we forget about the recent example with Microsoft, I don't know if you've seen this. I think I saw it last week. It turns out that ChatGPT shared, if you create a link to share a ChatGPT chat, if you want to share a ChatGPT chat, when you click share, it creates a link. And this link, I don't know if OpenAI has fixed this or not yet, this link becomes indexable on Google.
Wow.
I had not heard of that. I did not know that. Wow. See, these are the things when you put in all this hype about AI, rush AI without proper governance, throwing it out there, scaring people that do AI or your company is dead, it's doing so much harm, putting so much at danger. Whereas I know a few big corporations that they completely shut it down. They don't care. And until there is governance and they can control it, they don't care. Don't use AI unless we know what it does in the background. I think the biggest problem now is the newest. So AI wasn't enough. They were throwing all this stuff about AI. Now it's about the agenting AI. Create an agent that calls an agent that creates an agent that calls an agent that does an agent. After the second agent, you don't know what's happening. You lose complete control. Complete control. So yeah, technology is good, but then you need to know how to use it and how it's used. So yeah, it's a tough world to be in, and we will deep dive more into this technology and how to pick them, what to use, and how to use it. But wow, that was scary. I did not know that about the index. Wow.
Yeah, they might have fixed it already. I don't know. I haven't seen it, but ultimately, when you share a link, it makes it shareable usually, right? So whoever has the link can see the chat. And like you said, with bigger corporations, because they have all these rules, because they have all these, sometimes we think they're cumbersome and too much bureaucracy, but because they are monitored by different regulators and things like this, they say, no, we don't know how this works. We don't know what this is. You're not allowed to go there. But for smaller businesses, like everywhere you go, it's like, oh, if you don't have this AI tool, you'll be left behind. And then suddenly it turns out that, oopsie, this is actually available. And because we're talking about putting customer data, protecting your customer data, if you have put your customer data there in a chat to ask for help for some things that you're doing, now this is available, or it was available at least for a little bit for people to see. Like it was accessible. So again, being aware of this and taking the necessary steps. This is why we're having the conversation, not to make you scared, not to paranoid you. But this is the reality of the world we live in, and one step at a time. Don't get overwhelmed. And we did mention it yesterday. We mention it again today. Wherever you need help, whenever you need help, we are here for you. I'll put the link to our services so you can see what we offer, and also like whether this is something that you want to explore right now.
100% love it. This is a very important topic. Unfortunately, the generalized part of it is very broad, so it's important to talk to people, understand your systems, and customize something for yourself, something that works for you. And no, we're not trying to scare people. These are realities of our lives. And yeah, some companies actually, what they do right now, they actually once in a while they send phishing emails to their own people to see who clicks on it. One of the a couple of weeks ago, I was waiting for a very important uh, email from Microsoft. So I got two out of the four. And then I don't know if this was coincidence or the actual outside company fishers, they actually were waiting for this. The third one that came, it was phishing. I clicked on it. And then we have phishing hack stoppers. So they stopped it. And then our IT from Europe, they called and they told me that you clicked on a phishing. What happened? And I explained it to them, and they actually had to take my machine offline and do a complete check for malware. Yeah, it happens even today. Love it, love it. All right, Anna.
I
I
think
think
we're
we're good. Like I said, they call us if you need help. We are here. We have a lot of experience with this, and we can help out. And I think, yeah, build the right system, train the people the right way, and use the right technology. You will minimize the potential for hacking and lawsuits.
Yeah, just an update. I checked it to see what's going on. It does
Mm.
say that OpenAI is removing the conversations, so like they are making them non-indexable ultimately.
Wow.
But it is something, again, that's why we're having the conversation, and I'm sure we'll have more of these kind of conversations in the future, but this is more than enough for today. Thank you, Jores.
Mm.
Really appreciate it. And we'll be back tomorrow with another awesome topic, one of my favorite topics on how to figure out whether your employee or a team member is ready to move to the next level and become a manager.
Yeah, look forward to it. Thanks, Anna. Bye bye.
Thanks, Jores. Bye. Bye.